Y'all, we're making nacho cheese. Come on. Welcome to Highfalutin Low Carb, the almost weekly web series where we find and test the best low carb recipes this crazy internet has to offer. Today, we're tackling low carb nacho cheese. Stay tuned. All right, guys, whether you call it nacho cheese, queso, plastic cheese, you know what I'm talking about. That orange, wonderful sauce, sometimes it's white, that is perfect with chips. And since we've done so many chip videos lately, I'll leave a link up here, I thought we needed something to dip those chips in. So today we're gonna test two different very popular recipes to see if we can make a low carb version of this. One of them is a fancy, I guess you could say, coming in with 3 different types of cheeses. That's our first recipe called Keto Nacho Cheese Sauce, and this is by our friends over at KetoFocus.com. And the second one is a super easy, fast recipe called 1 Minute Keto Cheese Sauce, Nacho or Plain, and this is by Low Carb with Jennifer. Her website is jenniferbands.com. If you don't follow her over on Facebook, be sure to do that. She has some great content for low carb recipes over there on Facebook, so I encourage you to visit both of these creators. Now, before we begin, I need to give a huge thank you to the sponsor of this video, Green Chef. Green Chef is a CCOF or certified organic company with meal plans to fit a variety of lifestyles, including keto, paleo, vegan, gluten-free, vegetarian, fast and fit, and Mediterranean. It's nice to have a fridge full of delicious meals that are ready to go. Now, the recipes are usually quick and easy, and there's a step-by-step instruction guide. You get a card with chef tips and photos to sort of guide you along the way. And what's nice is you really learn how to combine flavors and textures that you probably wouldn't have gotten otherwise, that you can then take and use in other dishes that aren't from Green Chef. So one of our favorite meals this week was the cumin spiced shrimp. This thing has roasted veggies, and then you top it with cotija cheese and this beautiful creamy chimichurri sauce that's already prepared for you and ready to go, and then the nice little toasted pepitas that are going on top. This thing was delicious, and I'm really kind of understanding now that I really enjoy their seafood options. What's nice is that these are all packaged and portioned out and ready to go, and often the sauces and seasonings are prepared for you already so that you can skip a step there and just get a meal on the table pretty quickly. So guys, right now Green Chef is offering you a fantastic deal, one of the best they've ever had. If you'll go to greenchef.com and use the code Highfalutin130, you will get $130 off and free shipping on your first order. I say it all the time, sponsorships like these are what keeps channels like mine on the air, and for that I'm truly appreciative. So guys, if you want to support me, go support them, get some delicious food at greenchef.com. Highfalutin130 is your code. You'll get $130 off and free shipping on your first box. All right, let's go make some cheese. Come on. All right, guys, let's get started on our first recipe. Again, this is Keto Nacho Cheese Sauce by KetoFocus.com. I'm calling this the fancy recipe because I want to see if there's a difference in combining these different types of cheeses to try to give us what really is made out of American cheese, whether you're getting the white queso from a Mexican restaurant or the nacho cheese at a ball stand. All that stuff literally can't even be legally called cheese in the United States. That's why it says processed American cheese food. So a lot of nasty ingredients in there that we're trying to avoid by using real cheeses. But we also know you can't just throw cheese in a bowl and throw it in a microwave because you'll just have a separation of oil and water. So today we're finding out. So right now I've got a little bit of water in this pan here, and we're going to bring this on to a boil and till it comes to a simmer. And while we're doing that, I'm adding an unusual ingredient. And this was interesting to me, but I'm curious to see. This is sodium citrate. So it's a salt that is derived from citrus fruits, and it's used as an emulsifier and a flavor enhancer in a lot of different foods. So it sounds like a scary chemical. It's just a different type of salt, but what it's going to allow us to do is keep this cheese sauce emulsified so that it doesn't split and break. All right, so it wasn't terribly expensive. I'll leave a link down below where I got mine. So we're going to throw this in. If you want to know exactly how much, you know where to go, ketofocus.com. And we're going to bring this to a simmer and keep stirring this until the sodium citrate has completely dissolved. And I know that in molecular gastronomy, I guess you could say this is a type of that. There are some interesting things that sounds like chemicals, right? And everybody's like, chemicals. Well, I mean, everything is a chemical. And so sodium citrate is a perfectly safe food alternative that you're probably eating in about a dozen foods a day. So we're using it here to help us keep this emulsified. So we're going to toss our cheeses together, and this is sharp cheddar cheese, and I am a fan, you know this, of the pre-shredded cheeses, but I'm in this application, both recipe developers said fresh grated is best if you're going to be melting it, right? Also, this is a little bit of fontina cheese, a beautiful soft melting cheese. I'm sure it's going to give us some of that. We'll turn this down just a little bit. Some of that melty. And then finally, just a little bit of Swiss cheese. And again, if you want to know exactly how much of all these, go visit their website and follow their directions there. So we just want to toss this so we have a mixture of these cheeses together, because we're going to slowly and gradually add this in, all right? So our sodium citrate has dissolved. So now we are literally just going to add in these cheeses one handful at a time and stir it constantly until each handful has been completely dissolved. Now normally I would think, just personally, oh my gosh, we should have used heavy cream instead of water. How is this gonna blend? That's what the sodium citrate is for. It also lets us keep the carb content down quite a bit, because a lot of heavy cream, unfortunately, has quite a bit of carbs. People don't want to believe that, but okay. I'm going to come in here with another small handful. And so I'm going to do this slowly. This is going to be a quick video because these are super easy to do, and this is the most involved recipe we've got. And so I'm going to speed this up so you don't have to watch, but I'm going to be stirring this constantly until all of our cheese is incorporated, and it should be completely smooth. So I'll meet you right back here in just a bit. Okay, so all of our cheese is combined, and now we have a little bit more water to add to this, and that seems scary to me, but gradually whisk in on medium-low heat and whisk in the remaining water. And if you want a thicker sauce, simmer it for longer. If you want a thinner sauce, add more water if you need to. This sodium citrate is apparently what is keeping this from becoming a whole mess. So we're going to simmer this on medium-low heat for 2 to 3 minutes until it's to our desired thickness. And I'm going to do that now, but I'm also going to set up for our next recipe while I'm doing that. And we're just going to leave this here on the lowest keep warm setting so that we can test this cheese right after we make our other ones, okay? So I'm gonna do that now, and I'll see you back here for our second recipe in just a moment. All right, guys, so let's get started on our second recipe. This is literally so easy. We wanna see how it compares to the fancier version. I'm just gonna keep this over here on the lowest low, and just keep it moving so it doesn't coagulate. Now, this is 1 minute keto cheese sauce, nacho or plain, and this is by jenniferbands.com. You may know her as Low Carb with Jennifer over on Facebook. Now, this is all done in a bowl, and it's all done in the microwave. So we've got our shredded cheddar cheese here, and I just used the same bowl from the last where I tossed the cheese. There's very little left in there. We're going to add in some cream cheese. Again, if you want to know how much, go visit her website. And to this, we're going to add some spices. I'm going to do the nacho cheese version just to see how it compares. This is salt, cumin or cumin, however you want to say it, and chili powder. So that's going to go on this, and then we're going to add in some heavy whipping cream right now, and then microwave this on high, and we're going to add some more cream at the end after this has melted. So this goes in the microwave for 30 seconds, okay? So I'm going to do that now, stir it, go back in the microwave for another 30 seconds for a total of a minute, and I will meet you right back here, and we're going to test these. Okay, so this has been a minute and our cheese is melted. Now we have just a few more tablespoons of the heavy cream that we're going to slowly stir in to thin this down some to make it a cheese sauce. And she did say that when reheating this, do it very gently and very gradually in 15-second increments, because you could easily break this. And if it separates, you can't save it. You would just have dairy and oil, you know. So you don't want to do that. That's why the other recipe, you know, has that sodium citrate in it. So now, what does this taste like? Let's find out. Hold on, I'll be right back. All right, guys, so here we are with our two recipes, and you can see the consistency of these. This I could have probably maybe simmered it a little longer, but it's a nice, really, that looks like a great consistency. Okay, so let's talk about nutrition before we go any further. Our first recipe was the Keto Nacho Cheese Sauce by KetoFocus.com. This is the one we made on the stove. It makes 6 servings. If you get 6 servings out of it, 1 serving is 195 calories. You've got 14.8 grams of fat. You've got 11.8 grams of protein. You've got 0.1 grams of total carbs for a total of 0.1 grams of net carbs. So that's hard to argue with there as far as the carbohydrate count. So our second recipe was the 1-minute keto cheese sauce, nacho or plain, by jenniferbands.com. And hers makes 8 servings. So if you get 8 servings out of this, 1 serving is 139 calories. You've got 4 grams of protein, you've got 13 grams of fat, and you've got 2 total carbohydrates, no fiber, for a total of 2 net carbs. For this, 0.1 grams of net carbs for that. So how do they taste? I fried up some little, these are just the Mission low carb tortillas. And yes, I'm just gonna dip right in the bowl because the only person gonna be eating this is me. So normally I wouldn't serve myself, but you know, so let's see what this tastes like. This is our first recipe. The chips have no seasoning on it at all, just salt. And I'm gonna need a napkin, y'all. I'm gonna tell you that now, hold on. Okay. It smells good. It feels good. It feels like queso. Yes. Ooh, I lost a chip in there. Let me fish him out. Get out there. That's the problem with dipping in your own bowl. Oh my gosh, y'all. This is so good. Oh my. That is outstanding. I'm not going to lie. It took 3 different kinds of cheese and that weird sodium citrate, but this feels like restaurant quality. This feels like a commercial product, and it's just healthy, freshly grated cheese. Wow, and water. Water. That's weird to me. Okay, what does this feel like? This one I did add the flavorings in, which you could probably do with that as well. So let's see what this feels like. Let me get a smaller chip. Okay. This is a little thicker consistency. Also, I still see a little bit of cheese chunks in there, but I was scared to go too far with the microwave because you can separate it. So let's get this. Smells strongly of the chili powder. Oh, good. Nowhere near as smooth as that. Hold on. Both of these were great. I probably would use less of the seasonings in this. Distracted from the cheese flavor to me. You do have to realize the calorie difference, and the serving size is much smaller. This made about half as much as this. This has 6 servings. This has 8. 2 carbs per serving. Basically 0 carbs per serving. If I had to, this is hard, but I would say this is a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. And this is an 11 out of 10. That is, I'm super duper impressed. Both of these can live in the fridge for a while, but you're going to have to be very meticulous about warming up the one that's in the microwave because it can split. But I'm about to disappear, y'all, and go finish this, because I've often said that if I were on death row, my last meal would be nachos and cheese. And I would take this pot and all these chips, and you're not gonna see me for a while. So there you have it, folks. Low carb nacho cheese sauce. Can it be done? Heck yes. It might require a little bit of interesting ingredients or a little bit of time in the microwave, but both of these are outstanding, so please check them out. I say this every time, these videos are a way for me to maintain my low carb way of eating, and looking in the end of this camera as often as I can helps keep me honest, so I appreciate that you have come along for the journey. Please find me on Facebook and Instagram. It's just Highfalutin Low Carb. I speak a little more frequently and a little more freely there. And also, if you haven't done so, please hit the subscribe button if you like this content, and hit the like button. It helps me get to the top of YouTube. So it lets people know that this is quality content that YouTube can recommend, so it helps me out more than you know. I also need to give another huge thank you to the sponsor of this video, Green Chef. I say it all the time, these videos, sponsorships are why I do this, they're how I do this. So thank you, Green Chef, for sponsoring me. You guys go support them, check it out, the food is delicious. Go to greenchef.com, use code Highfalutin130 and you'll get $130 off plus free shipping on your first box. So Green Chef, thank you so much. Lastly, you know I need to thank my rock stars, my Patreon members. You're gonna see their names start to scroll here. If you don't know what Patreon is, think of it as the tip jar for the internet. It lets people like you, who enjoy what people like me do here on YouTube, you can give $1 to a month just to sort of keep the train on the tracks, as it were, and without these people, none of this would be possible. Thank you so much to all of them. And so now, I will see you very soon for another low carb video. Bye-bye.